Hey.
Alex Newhouse.
What's up?
Titanfall, Root and Titanfall. Technical test was on last weekend. The second one's on this weekend.
Yep.
So I missed it completely because I was out of town. But you played a bunch of it, right?
Yeah, I did actually. It seems like, so first off, it feels like Titanfall.
Okay.
It plays just like you remember. You're going to be running on walls. You'll be shooting stuff. You'll be using a Titan. You know, you'll be blowing stuff up. It feels great still. Like that gameplay loop is so good. Like they did such a good job the first time of just, you know, making it fun to run around and jump and run on walls, and you're just always running. You're always mobile. I love that.
Yeah, they were one of the first sort of first-person shooters to do the whole mobility is part of like the battle thing, which then we saw propagate into Call of Duty and I guess even Overwatch and stuff.
Yeah, I still think they nailed it better than anyone else has before or since, I guess.
So how does 2 feel then? Does it feel like a meaningful evolution of that, or does it feel very similar to that?
It feels, so the core loop is very similar, but it does, in certain ways, it does feel very meaningful. Like they added the grappling hook, which is probably one of the biggest additions to it. And that, once you get the hang of it, it feels like it feels perfect. It fits with the feel of the movement and jumping around and stuff. So like you can use the grappling hook to essentially catapult yourself over buildings.
Right. And it doesn't work like, you know, again, to use Overwatch just as a quick little analogy, or it doesn't work like Widowmakers where you use it to basically like teleport somewhere. No. It's more like Bionic Commando where you can swing on it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And it feels slower than you would expect at first. Like you will attach it to a building and then you will swing under, like you literally swing against the wall.
Right.
But then you can sort of use your jetpack to, while you're hanging from the wall, to like launch yourself over it and then just keep going. And it feels like just a great addition to it. The one issue is it's not constant. Like you have to select it. It's one of the abilities you select.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. Which is actually one of that was one of like mine and Rob Handlery, who also played a lot of it. That was one of the issues we had with the game, is there's no reason to use any of the other perks in that slot.
Oh, really? It's just that good?
Yeah, it is. The grappling hook is just the best.
So what were the other perks, like the hologram stuff?
There was the hologram. There was like a sonar beam you could throw, and it would like show, you know, pulsing impressions of where people were, which was helpful and stuff. But like, why would you ever sacrifice that additional movement? It feels so much fun to use that thing, and like I really wish it was just a set part of
the game. Yeah, like Tribes. Everyone got a jetpack or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess like what else feels new about Titanfall 2? Like, does it? We're fresh off having a conversation about Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, which sounded like a very direct sequel to the one that came out 5 years ago. Does this feel much different? Does it? I mean, it looks sharp as hell. It looks wonderful. Was the map design anything new there? Anything new? I guess the Titans are all different now. Does that feel meaningful as well?
I mean, the Titans are probably the new Titan Scorch is probably the most different, and that feels, playing with the Titan feels very different. Like that Titan specifically has sort of a flamethrower thing where you just shoot out this line of fire, and then that creates sort of an environmental trap. Other meaningful changes, like taking down a Titan, is way different. So you remember in the first game how you could get on top of an enemy Titan and rodeo it?
Yeah.
You would like rip off the panel, and then you could like
shoot it a bunch.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can't do that anymore. What you do instead is you rip out the Titan's battery, which causes a little bit of damage, but then you pop off immediately. So you can't just keep rodeoing it.
Right.
You have to get back on, and then if you take out the battery, then you can drop a grenade down that slot.
Okay.
And
is that like an instant kill then?
No.
Okay.
It takes probably 3 or 4.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
Robust technology in this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they went back to they got a lot of warranties, people saying like, they keep blowing up my Titans. We got to figure this one out.
Yeah. It didn't feel imbalanced though. It was weird. Like I think that the Titans, to compensate, have a little bit less ability to get people off their back. Like there's still electric smoke, but because you're on it for such a short amount of time, like it doesn't really affect it as much.
All right.
I liked, you know, doing that and then hopping off and then grappling right back on.
Right.
So that was fun. But yeah, it feels very iterative. There are some good steps. There are a couple of issues I had with it. Like I still don't know if it's going to have good progression. Like that was like the progression in the first game was pretty
I guess maybe technical test is not maybe the place where you figure that out because you're just replaying the same map over and over again. Peter, what do you think about this? You did the second take review for Titanfall 1 for GameSpot.com. You enjoyed that game a lot.
I did, yeah.
What does this make you feel about? Like, are you excited for it?
Yeah, totally. Titanfall was the first competitive multiplayer shooter that I felt the urge to play and keep playing. To hear about the grappling hook, that sounds really interesting because I can almost imagine it in my head, but I feel like there's a lot of mastery involved, which sounds like a great sort of challenge. Adding to all the great things that I enjoyed about the original game, I lamented the lack of a campaign. It didn't really hurt my review so much because that's not what the game was going for, but I'm excited to see what they can do with it. And some of the stuff that Mike has told me, and I think Rob, in terms of like, because they went to a preview event and they saw some of the story, and your Titan has like personality AI and talks back to you and is very quippy and like, that sounds really entertaining. So, I mean, for the most part, I'm super excited. I do agree with you. It sounds like the grappling hook should be available across the board. If not all the time, at least make a mode where that's a thing, where people can also choose things on top of it. I want to know, was there ever a point where two Titans were grappling and like swung around buildings and like smacked into each other while on their tethers?
No, I never saw that happen, but you can use a grappling hook as a weapon. So you
only as a pilot though, right?
Yeah, the pilot. The Titans don't have grappling hooks. But
it'd be cool if you could play tetherball and like literally like keep hitting a Titan like around a building.
That'd be funny.
Sorry.
What is up with you in ball games?
I love balls.
It's it's a Metroid Prime.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Titanfall 2. I think they did a remarkable job with the first game.
It is interesting though about the single player stuff where like if they put out a really good single player, like I don't know, it's maybe it's such a like an old way of thinking about games, but I'm always a lot more forgiving of the multiplayer if there's a campaign there.
Oh, really?
Like if I feel like if I got like a really good campaign out of a game, then I don't need the $60 purchase to be this multiplayer game that I play for 50 hours then. Like I'll just happily jump in and play 20 hours of it and jump away again.
I think at this stage I can't remember how I felt back then, but now thinking back about Titanfall, I don't care that it didn't have a campaign.
I actually enjoyed the campaign multiplayer.
Yeah.
I think I hit the sweet point though where it was like the second week it came out.
Yeah.
So people had figured out how to play and there was still enough people. And then whereas like I'd say by the time you played it, there wasn't as many people playing because it was difficult to get into those early missions.
It was about a month.
Okay, right. Not that long enough.
Yeah, no, but I just think it presents an interesting opportunity if they can capitalize on it.
Yeah,
but I think the multiplayer, if they're building it off the first game, can stand on its own.
I feel like Titanfall's weird though. It's like one of the only games I can think of where they went from a multiplayer only game to almost like, because we always make jokes about single player games shoehorning in multiplayer.
Yes.
This is the opposite.
Right.
And I'm really interested to see if they can pull this off because they are still such a multiplayer focused game.
Yeah.
No, but the guys behind the studio have the experience.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, Vince Zampella made some of the best, campaigns in first-person military games for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all right. So generally positive. There were some people coming out saying that they weren't super hot on it.
I mean, there are issues like everyone used the auto rifle. Like there's no reason to use anything else. Everyone used the grappling hook. There's no reason to use anything else.
They had the same problem with the first game with like the pistol as well. It was like once people got used, they had to nerf it in the end, I think.
Yeah. I think there are also some really cool things like they've restructured the way grunts work in the game. So like, and Hardpoint, like Titanfall's version of Domination, there aren't grunts anymore.
Oh, right, okay.
But in their bounty mode, it's sort of like Halo 5's Warzone, where they're like neutral grunts that any team can kill. So you can do grunt farming and get Titans. Yeah, I know.
Fucking hell.
They just airdrop in and then just everyone goes crazy.
Civilians?
And just murders them.
It's like the Fremen in Dune. Do you remember that? The original Dune game. You just see like a band of Fremen, you're like, sure, I'll just murder you.
Yeah, exactly. They are just cannon fodder, so you can rack up points towards your Titan.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
At least MOBAs make them like weird aliens or something.
Yeah.
These are just like...
So you're different. I must hate you.
Yeah. You're wearing green. That's enough. Weird.